Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. All right, we got a really fun video today, and I'm posing the question, can you properly clean a gun in as little as 5 minutes? Well, we're going to cheat just a tiny little bit, but the answer is yes, okay? We're going to be using the Infante Ultrasonics S30. This is a very powerful ultrasonic unit. I think you're going to find this video really fun and enjoyable, and we're definitely going to get into this, and we've got a really dirty gun that we're going to be cleaning here today to really test this thing out. Before we get started, I want to thank our friends at Sonoran Desert Institute for supporting our videos. If you're looking for a career in gunsmithing technology, if you want to become a gunsmith, you want to learn about reloading, all different types of programs, they accept all different forms of financial aid, GI Bill, so check them out, Sonoran Desert Institute, SDI. Tell them we sent you. Okay, so we're going to get into this here a little bit. Now, we've got this really skanky CMMG 22 conversion kit upper that we've been running full auto, and it's probably got about 6,000 rounds in it, and it is dirty. And of course, you can manually clean the firearm. That takes a lot more time. 5 minutes, that's a tall order. Now, this powerful ultrasonic, you can begin to break up most of the very large particulates and carbon, brass shavings and things in as little as 3 minutes. That's the touted time frame for being able to get most of your firearms clean. Now, this is a very, very, very skanky example here, okay? So we are going to really be putting that order to the test here. This is a unique ultrasonic as well, is that it's very, very powerful. I believe it's 100 watts per gallon, so considerable amount of power over most standard ultrasonics. Also, this is a dual tank system. So you have their sonic tonic, which is the cleaning solution, that'll work for about up to 90 handguns of average skankiness, all right? Of course, the dirtier the gun, you have to adjust that amount, but you use 24 ounces of solution to a full tank of water in this guy here. So you do dilute the cleaning solution. Our front tank is set up with our cleaning solution. Our rear tank is set up with the lubricant or oil. It's emulsified with water, so it does have some water in it, but the thing is once you blow the lubricant off, it leaves an oily residue and protects the part that you put in the rear tank. So we have a oil tank and a cleaning tank, both with ball valves for emptying and cleaning and things like that. All stainless steel construction, okay? You have individual heater for the rear and front tank, as well as individual timers for the rear and front tank. You do have to plug in 2 different outlets for each individual sonic circuit, okay? So they do require that power in order to run, all right? We can see here the construction is quite good. Now, I've already taken the liberty of warming up each of these solutions in here. I'm just going to set this off to the side for now. These baskets are really nice, all welded stainless steel. You can see here I've got these little notches here in the tank, so once I get my parts in there, I can actually set it right there and let it drain, so it's got that ability to drain out really well. That's really easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the camera angle, guys, and I'm going to drop in this this really skanky gun right here. I mean, it is absolutely caked in carbon and oil residue and no telling what else in there, right? And we're going to let you see the action of this ultrasonic work in real time. And I'm going to set the timer to 3 minutes. They recommend in the manual to run for approximately 3 minutes and sort of check and see what's going on, because the idea is that it actually breaks up so much oil and carbon and surface buildup that after 3 to 4 minutes or so, it can start to really wear certain finishes if you're not careful. Like, this cleaning solution is very, very specifically tailored to this system. All right, Mr. Infante's been dealing in ultrasonics for over 20 years, so he's experimented with different things and found that to be a good ratio of cleaner to water, as well as the overall time that you want to sort of check. So this is not a set it in there for 30 minutes and go do something else type of cleaning system. This is a, take a few sips of coffee and come on back because she's ready to go. We're going to go through and clean this CMMG up, and you'll see some before shots of how dirty it is. Let's see if we can get it cleaned up in 5 minutes. All right. So before we crank up the Sonic, we're going to go ahead and start dropping parts in a second. I just want to make mention, when you're setting this stuff in here, you don't want to lay it down flat like this. You want to lay it down in this position, because as the ultrasonic action works against all of this carbon and buildup, it's going to fall out and gravity's going to pull it out. So we're going to try to demonstrate that. I'll just go ahead and start dropping parts in here. I'm going to give just 1 extra minute to the runtime. I'm going to go about 3.5 just to give me time to get all the parts in here. That way all the parts have at least 3 minutes. So I'm going to give myself just a little bit of extra time, but I do want you to see the cleaning action as we drop the parts. So it's going to get a little noisy. One other mention too is that this machine does need to ventilate. You'll actually feel air blowing out from underneath. Okay, you don't want to block that airflow. You want to allow that air to free flow. All right, here we go. Wow, dirty stuff here. Dirty, dirty, dirty. All right, just for my own purposes too, I want to look. Oh wow, yeah. All right, 3 minutes in, they tell you to have a look, and we might grab a brush. All right, let's grab our lower, because that's certainly going to be the dirtiest component. Look at that. Not bad. That's only 3 minutes. All right, now the upper, obviously she's pretty dirty too. Let's have a look. Got quite a bit off there, but we do still have some buildup. Now we can see that, you know, this is a heck of a lot of buildup in a few areas. You may have to just take a brush and break some of this up a little bit. And of course we can increase our runtime, and this is an incredibly dirty example, so that just gives you a bit of a benchmark to go off of. If you got a really dirty gun, 3 minutes might not be quite long enough, but the reason they tell you 3 minutes is because they want you to check, because if the gun, a lot of, you know, pistols especially, that aren't incredibly that dirty, right? 3 minutes is enough time, and really if you go more than 3 minutes, you're kind of going, you know, too long, and you could start to break into the finish, or, you know, possibly lift markings off of polymer and things like that. So when you're dealing with such a powerful ultrasonic, that's just something to consider. I mean, gosh, for only a 3 minute cycle, that is a pretty tall order for this thing to clean, and it's actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect yet, but I would imagine just a little bit more time, and I think we're gonna be there. So I'm gonna let this run a little longer, and then we'll lift the basket and have a look at this holistically. And what we're gonna do is rinse it off with water and run it in our oil bath, and we'll see kind of where we're at. But that's looking pretty good. I am gonna take a bore brush and just go ahead and quickly scrub the barrel out on this thing. Okay, we've ran this cycle an additional 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and have a look and see what that's yielded us here. So this is a total of 13 minutes of runtime, which is still considerably less than average ultrasonics. All right, I know it's tempting to throw it in there for a half hour, but I'm pretty confident that it's not necessary in this case. I'd like to mention one other thing too on your air nozzles here. You can see this is kind of the mechanic style, wand style air nozzle. That helps the air, you know, get much more concentrated to a smaller area. And the thing about these nozzles that's cool is as you just gently press them, you can get a little bit of flow. And that's much harder to do with the cheaper nozzles like you know, that come with the compressors, okay? So see? All right, we're gonna pull this out and have a look. All right, this is, oh wow, yeah. She's clean. All right, hang on, all right. Oh, that looks nice. Look at that. I don't know how well you can see, but she is definitely clean. So what I'm gonna do at this point, before we go to put these parts into our oil solution, which we're gonna do here in a moment, I can tell you what I'll do, let's just go ahead and lift the basket up so I can demonstrate the draining here. All right, so it just locks into these little guys here. All right, we're gonna let these parts drain. Now also, because of the level of heat that we're running, it will cause the water to evaporate off the part. That's completely normal. All right, so our lower's looking good. I'm just gonna set it aside to make some room here for a second. We are gonna rinse these parts off with clean water before we put them into the oil solution. All right, not too bad. We still have a couple of trouble spots, but I believe that once we rinse that off and blow that out, I think that crud should come out of there just fine. Not bad for a 13-minute run. Our charging handle also had quite a bit of splooge on it. A few of the nooks and crannies we might have to just touch up manually. All right, the bolt looks pretty good. Again, maybe just a little bit. Tell you what, I'm gonna try just off camera, grab the nozzle and just spray that and see if it comes off. Yeah, you can see that's still caked on a little bit. So we may have to get in there with the fluid. I'll dunk this back in and just hit it with the brush one more time, and we're gonna rinse it off with hot water and then go into our oil bath. Let's do it. All right, we've gotten our parts rinsed off with clean water and we've dried them off. And I wanna stress the importance of doing that, because if I look in this 5-gallon bucket, I can certainly see a bit of residue on the surface. You wanna prevent the cleaning residue from mixing with the oil residue, the oil bath. We're gonna go ahead and cap this off just so we don't accidentally get any of this in here. All right, here's our oil bath. We've got our heater on, okay? Also wanna make mention on this cleaner that you wanna be careful with anything that has like black nitriding. Not all nitride finishes are created equal, so approach with caution. You know, if you're gonna use it for the first time, always do like a little test, run of about 2 or 3 minutes. Any gun that you've never had in this Sonic, just give it 3 minutes and check it, and that way you can make sure you're not having any issues. All right, now this oil bath actually does have some emulsified water in it. That's normal, it's okay. You don't want to leave parts in this oil bath because of the emulsified water. It will cause corrosion if you allow it to sit in there over time. And you would ask, well, if there's emulsified water in this, why in the heck would I want to oil my parts in it? Well, the reason is because once you remove it from the oil solution and blow it off with your air nozzle, it's going to remove all the water and leave an oil film on there, okay? We're going to go ahead and put our parts in here. All right. We had a few stubborn areas that we had to get loose with a scribe, but that's mostly lead residue is what that ended up being. So we're going to drop all of our parts in here, and then we're going to allow this ultrasonic action to get this oil into every little tiny crack and crevice. Woo, slippery. Be careful, it is a little slippery if it gets on the floor. All right, we're gonna let this run a bit. Tell you what, let's shoot for 5 minutes. All right, that's the rear tank going. I've got it set to 60 degrees Celsius. I'm gonna back that off a bit down to 50. It might be a little hot. Now on the heat, you wanna experiment with the temperature, right? The lower temperatures might allow more or less of the oil residue to remain on the workpiece once it's pulled off and dried off. So you just have to experiment with the temperature. All right, the manual recommends somewhere between 40 and 50 degrees Celsius. All right, let's let it run 5 minutes and let's check it. All right, 5 minutes in the oil bath with the heater. Let's have a look. All right, set our lid to the side, very robust lid. And we're going to pick this up and set it on there like that. Okay, make sure that's locked on, of course. All right, let's have a look after everything's had a nice oil bath. That's nice and clean. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Very clean. Very, very nice. All right, I'm going to blow this off. Let's have a look. Yeah, so the only thing I'd probably recommend overall is possibly like a trash can down below for some of the excess water to go in when you blow stuff off, because we do have a little bit of water and emulsified oil on the floor, and it's a little slippery. You know, possibly a non-slip mat on the floor wouldn't be a bad thing. All right, but that could be dependent on your individual area. All right, we've gotten her cleaned up real nice here, and you know, we can't just have a nice clean gun and not get it dirty again. So that's how this process works. As you see, we get it dirty, we clean it, and then we rinse and repeat, and we keep going. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. All right, let's have a little fun here. All right, one more mag, all right, just to make sure that we got her cleaned up good here. All right. Oh yeah, she's running like a top. Guys, have a good one. Appreciate you watching. Big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, as well as those of you who are purchasing man cans. Go over to Ballistic Ink, pick yourself up a snazzy t-shirt. Appreciate it. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon.